Christmas Eve. Today on Take 30, we'll visit the home of John and Joyce Scott. We'll join them and their children in their Christmas Eve preparations. Our visit begins in 60 seconds.
The first thing that comes to mind when I think about my mom is, I think it's like this surge, like a powerful energy. When my mom would perform, it was pretty remarkable. People would just like freeze in their steps. Like her voice was so powerful.
When I was born, my mother was already then a very, very famous singer in Canada. I don't think I realized it at the time, but it didn't take long for me to figure it out when we would be out for a lunch, for example, or just walking down the street and people would come up to us and say, "Are you Joyce Sullivan?"
She was always regal and powerful, yet never judgmental or unkind. There was something about the way she carried herself, something unforgettable. Even now, I still believe that she's the most beautiful woman I've ever seen.
I mean, the older I get, you start realizing that people have very distinct energies, and hers was, even though maybe I couldn't put it into words when I was younger and living at home, she had this ability to sort of, everyone kind of stood up straight. All my friends were afraid of her, and, God forbid I had a boyfriend that came in that was, not up to her standards. It was, she had this ability to kind of just look at somebody and put them in their place, if that makes any sense. Like she just had this strength about her. Because her voice it was pretty evident at a young age that she had a great voice. So she would sing at bar mitzvahs. She'd sing at weddings, and then it just kind of escalated, and then she joined a choir in Toronto called the Leslie Bell Singers, and she just stood out in this choir. And she was really discovered, and then, her career just really took off, and she was propelled into this really glamorous life.
I feel my Grannie Annie living on in everything I do. I see her in the photographs, but even more, I see her in my mother and in my aunt and uncle, still present, still here in so many different ways.
So after she passed away, I didn't realize to the extent of her career and how pretty amazing it was until I started looking through all her photos and going through things that when you're cleaning out a house, and I was like, wow, she gave up a lot to raise 4 kids and on a farm.
Thank you.
Do you love living in the country?
Well, I think particularly in this house because of its age, and particularly around Christmas. It has a nice feeling for Christmas, I think.
Where our family grew up was, it was a farm just outside of Toronto, close to the Metro Zoo. And my father called it the Seasons. And we had horses, and it was very idyllic. It was very, just a beautiful place to grow up.
The farm, yeah. The farm was a special place. A lot of my parents' friends would come out and spend time there because we had horses, we had a pool, and it was just my father worked like a madman to make sure it was all looking good all the time.
My Grannie Annie lived on the farm where she raised my mother and her family until she passed away in 2017. She never left. Every Thanksgiving, Easter, and Christmas, we gathered there. It was the most magical place in the world.
She was actually considering her status as a performer in the early 60s. She was surprisingly a good mother. I mean, I can't imagine giving up that kind of career to be at home with 4 ungrateful children. I can't even imagine that because she had been living a very exceptional lifestyle.
Even after she stepped away from the spotlight, it never seemed to leave her. She took up space wherever she went. She was a deeply devoted mother.
And here's my mom's, this is one of her glam headshots. So, she was a beauty. She had a TV show in the 50s with Robert Goulet called Showtime, which was a big deal, apparently. So Robert Goulet obviously went on to move to the States and become quite a big star, and always kept in touch with my mom, interestingly enough. He was a really sweet man.
Even while touring with Bob Hope and Robert Goulet, she never let it change her. She loved performing.
She was just a warm individual.
When Anne Murray won her, it was an award, I can't remember what it was for. It was a Canadian Achievement Award, and she got up on stage, and it was televised, and she actually thanked my mother as being one of the pioneers in singing and for women, and kind of opening doors for women as a result.
I would like to take a minute to pay tribute to some ladies of Canadian music. Some names you may have forgotten. People like Shirley Harmer, Joyce Sullivan. Now, I haven't heard or seen most of these ladies in well over 20 years, but I know exactly what they look like, and I can hear their voices. I learned from those women.
I hear her voice in my dreams, on the phone, and I see her every time I spot a red beret, or every time I perform. The artwork that my mom grew up with on the farm now lives in the house that I grew up in. She's in everything that we do, the real matriarch of our family. I see her in my mom, in the stories she tells. I feel her energy and her spirit every single day, and I truly mean it. She will always be, always, my Grannie Annie.
But that was very long ago. You used to say my eyes were as blue as a summer sky, and no star on high could match their glow. What color was my dress when